Welcome to day one of our 100-day challenge. I am so excited you are here. I have been waiting for today for a long time. It is marked on my calendar with a big circle and a heart and some highlights. Say day one of 100 days to brave. Now let me tell you, in the past week, the sequence of events that have played out to prepare my heart to be brave and the lessons I have learned to be brave are not lost on me. The irony that God continues to teach me to be brave, continues to teach me how to help somebody else be brave, it's unreal. Let me share a couple of things with you guys. We celebrated my oldest, his birthday this week. His birthday was Tuesday, and because we just get excited about stuff, we came up to Georgia, and we had a week-long hoopla. Monday, we went to Dollywood with some cousins. Now, I'll tell you something. My boy loves roller coasters, loves roller coasters. So we went all out. Dollywood has some pretty rowdy roller coasters, and I used to like roller coasters, but apparently I'm getting old, and the idea of heights and death scare me, and I have never screamed so passionately in my life. Nick looked at me after one of the rides, literally on one of the rides. I couldn't even open my eyes because it was so fast. If anyone is from that area, and if you've ever ridden the Lightning Rod, which is the fastest wooden roller coaster in the world, I screamed out loud, deep in my soul. I could not stop these words coming out of my mouth. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to die." I just screamed the entire time. I was losing my mind. I told Nick, he was like, "Are you okay?" Because it was insanity. And I said, "I'm not okay. My heart's not okay. My head's not okay. My physical body's not okay. My soul is not okay." I thought I was gonna die. Guys, I was terrified. But I wrote it, and I thought, why am I not as brave as I used to be with roller coasters? And it might just be because I have a lot of little people relying on me, and so the idea of flying into the air from a roller coaster is a little less extravagant and exciting to me. But what I learned yesterday was a life lesson that I will forever hold in my heart. And it was how to help somebody else be brave. I think that God has a lot of work to do on me of being brave and stepping into who I was meant to be. And I hope that's the same for you, that you step into who you are meant to be. But yesterday, we had a milestone in our family. And maybe you have gone through the same thing. It had to do with a coffee table and a little boy's forehead. Has that ever happened? Boom. All right. So one of those things happened yesterday. We're at Grandma and Grandpa's house. This is their room. And downstairs, there's a coffee table, and it has a kind of a glass corner. Well, lo and behold, we've made it all week long with 5 grandchildren in one house who are very energetic. And last night, Leland's head hit the forehead, and all I heard was the bump, which happens. I hear bumps a lot. But then I heard a cry, and I thought, all right. I leaped from where I was in the kitchen over the high chair that we were just cleaning up because spaghetti bomb went everywhere with the kids. And I heard Leland say, "It hit my bone, it hit my bone." He's crying. I run to him, and I just see a little drop of blood go down his sweet little chest. And I thought, all right, this is it. And I don't really know how I handle trauma, so that was real life experience, hands-on, in the moment, fully immersed in, hey, how am I gonna handle this? And so I immediately, he had his hand on his forehead. At that point, there's, blood everywhere. And I grabbed his head, and I started calling for Nick. Nick. He didn't know the inflection of my voice was as serious. And so I didn't want to scream, "We have to go," or Leland's bleeding, because I didn't want to scare Leland. But I also didn't know what to say at that time. So all I knew to shout, all I knew to yell in my moment of panic, of fear, of I don't know what to do next, was to call out to somebody that I could rely on, that could help me take the next step. And that was my husband. Okay, so I just needed my support. I needed a rock that could just say, "Tell me what to do. I'm gonna be in control, but you just tell me the next step to take and I will do it." Nick came, he took care of it, he looked at it, and yes, 6 stitches later, he definitely had to get some stitches. And so I moved my hand from Leland's forehead, and Nick looked at it, and Leland, he's calming down a little bit, even though he's still scared. And I just thought, I'm so glad Nick is right here, because it trained me to know how to handle a situation like this in the future. And so what we did is we gathered Leland up, we put ice on his head and we got cleaned up a little. I had to wash my hands and we got him to the hospital. It was fine. He's fine. Everyone's fine. But in the hospital, in the moments that transpired, I remember over and over again saying, Leland, you are so brave. You are doing great. You could trust the doctors. You are doing great. You are so brave. I am so proud of you. It's okay to be scared, but you are so brave. And I thought afterwards, in order to help somebody else be brave, maybe it's not necessarily something that they have in them that they can open up a can of brave, but maybe it's somebody else speaking into their life saying, but Laura, you are brave. Laura, I know you're scared right now and that's okay, but you are brave. You are doing great. Just trust me. I had Nick there. I had Leland who is, figuring out that he can trust his parents and he can trust the doctors. And I thought in my life with God, when I am in a traumatic situation or when I need to be brave, when I'm faced with a fork in the road and I have to make a decision, or when I'm just faced with waking up in the morning and trying to be my best self, being the best mom, the best wife, the best worker, how can I be brave to be who I was meant to be? And I thought I need to cry out to the one that I can rely on, and that's God. I needed to say, God, help me, God, to be brave. Just like I cried out to Nick in that moment of, he can tell me the next thing to do. God is gonna tell you the next thing to do, and he's gonna say, Laura, rest. I will help you take the next step, but that's all you need to know. And then I will help you take the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And then I need sisters in Christ like you who will breathe life into me and say, Laura, you are brave. Laura, you can do this. I am so proud of you. I know you are scared and it's normal to feel fear, but you are brave. And that's what I want to do to you guys. I want to remind you to be brave as we dig into this book. This is day one of a true possible life transformation that you can walk through, not because of how awesome you are, but because of how awesome he is. Never in the Bible are you going to read a scenario or a story where God is validating his son or daughter by being like, you are so awesome, you are so strong, I'm so glad that I have you. No, what God does when we're scared is he says, don't forget, I am awesome, I am strong, I'm so glad that you have me. It's all about him. It's not about us. And I know sometimes we're fed those wrong messages, but it is about him, and it always has been about him. So this first section, what I want you to focus on is days 1 through 5, getting set up with a morning routine, getting set up with a routine of just crying out to God, saying, God, help me take the next step. I don't know what to do, but I trust you, and I'm going to obey. I'm going to do exactly what you want me to do. And you're going to be pushed out of your comfort zone. You're going to be stretched. And I hope that there's pieces of you that are broken, because when sin is confronted, it hurts and it sucks and it burns, but that's where God changes us. So ladies, I am excited. I am honored to walk through this Live Slow Bible study with you. And I hope that you will join me on day 1 through 5 in this first section, which is called Brave Enough to Start. I want you to be brave enough to start something that God is calling you to. It could be small, it could be big, and that size does not matter, but obedience matters. God will only move at the speed of your obedience. Remember that. I love you guys. All right, bye.